closest in my circle? Who the one who be the snakes? Who gon' fold up under pressure? Who gon' understand the stakes? Who gon' wait to get their food to try to take from off my plate? Who the love? Who gon' understand I'm hurt? Who gon' love me unconditionally and try to make it work? Who gon' party once I'm gone and shed a tear once I'm in dirt? I ain't asking for too much, I'm trying to understand my work.
All right, welcome to the next episode of Give Me My Crown Podcast.
Give Me My Crown Podcast.
And as you all can see, this is the first video we doing, so just want to reintroduce ourselves just so y'all can put a name to the face. My name is Antonio.
My name is Keith Anson Farrell Jr.
And today we're going to talk about, we're going to barely scratch the surface on finances. Finances is a huge topic. It's a very broad topic. And there's a bunch of things that are encompassed within finances. So today we're just going to barely scratch the surface on a little bit of that.
I agree. I think we got 3 talking points for y'all today, so y'all can get to know a little bit more about finances with us.
Yeah, and for one, the first thing we're going to go over, what is financial literacy? Financial literacy is the ability to understand and effectively use various financial skills.
Okay, like we said before, he got the college degrees, I'm non-college degree. I'm going to give you the quick and skinny of this. Is how is my money working for me and how do I manage my money?
That's true. And for one, as we all know, the most effective way to manage your money is to have a what?
A budget. I wouldn't believe it first. Shout out to my wife. Like my wife and Antonio, they kept telling me about budgeting. Shout out to them. Yeah,
and budgeting I think is one of the most important things you can do in order to try to get your finances in order. Because not everybody, obviously, like I said, not everybody has all their finances in order. Not everybody makes a ton of money, but a budget you can pay yourself more by having a budget because at that point you know where your money is going.
But you can have all the money in the world. If you don't have a budget and you don't know where your money going, you just losing money.
That's true, because if you're making $1 million, $2 million a year, but you're spending over $2 million a year, how much money are you actually? How wealthy are you actually?
Well, you ain't wealthy at all. You be like me. I just make it back. That's why I used to say that all the time. I can make it back. But when you get a budget, you see where your money's going.
Yeah, and a budget I think is very important. Like I said, there's different types of budgets that you can have. There's different ways you could do a budget. You could do it yourself. You could hire somebody to do your budget. I am a financial coach, so I do budgets. I will be certified through Ramsey Solutions as a master financial coach.
Ooh, Ramsey?
So, Ramsey Solutions, Dave Ramsey.
Oh my God.
Dave Ramsey is, obviously some people know who Dave Ramsey is, some people don't. Some people agree with his method, some people don't. I, for one, at first was a little skeptical about his method. And he has the 7 baby steps as far as saving money and paying off all your debt and living debt free. I did follow those steps to become debt free. And when I started that, I did become debt free and it completely changed my life for the better.
Did you go through all the steps though?
I hadn't made it. I'm still working on some of the steps.
Do you believe in the rest of the steps?
I believe in the rest of the steps because for one, the snowball effect worked to a T.
I agree with that one.
That definitely worked. I think first thing you need to do, obviously, save money.
Correct.
You got to save $1,000.
There you go.
That's the first thing because they say 64% of households in the United States do not have $1,000 saved up for an emergency fund.
Lying. Everybody got $1,000.
That's $1,000.
Everybody got $1,000.
64%. So if you look at 100 families, 64 of them don't have $1,000 saved up for an emergency fund. I mean, and when I started studying more into this, I'm like that's hard to believe. Like just $1,000.
Everybody got $1,000.
But then you look, and now everything is so high. If you have a major car issue, if you have a major issue with your house, especially if you own your house, it's gonna cost way more than $1,000.
We all know that.
If you got to go, kids got to go to the doctor. You got to go to the doctor. Something serious. You get, God forbid, a car accident, hurt at work, something like that. Most people don't have even $1,000. And like I said, $1,000 is, nowadays the bare minimum of what you need to make it by on an emergency.
That's wild right there.
Yeah, like I said, I thought the same thing when I first started studying this stuff, and I'm like, damn, 64%.
So like I told you, I can get with the whole, the first two, them steps you just named.
Yes.
But I can't get with all 7 steps.
Which ones don't you agree with?
I'm just saying, like, I can get debt free. I can have $1,000 on hand.
Yeah.
But I believe in credit.
Yeah, and that's kind of where a lot of people go back and forth with his method. Obviously, his method of being debt free has worked for him. And you got other people out here.
Yeah, that's true.
You got other people out here, such as what's the guy's name? Him 500.
Him 500.
He talks about how you can use credit to your advantage, and obviously he's making it work for him. And there's plenty of other people. Grant Cardone.
That's my boy right there.
Spend other people's money instead of your own. And like I said, there's advantages and disadvantages to both. I do believe, like I said, I do believe in the Dave Ramsey method, but I also believe that if you make money, you have to enjoy. First of all, you have to enjoy your money. Like, you can make all the money in the world, and you can save all the money in the world, but if you're not enjoying yourself or enjoying your money,
I get it.
Then at that point, or why are you making money at that point if you can't enjoy it?
I agree. I mean, that's the whole point of making money, is to be able to enjoy your life.
Exactly. So, I mean, some people are car fanatics.
Yep.
Some people have other hobbies that are very expensive. For me, I love cars.
Watches, cars. Keep going. Keep going.
So I love cars. So when I will say, when I paid my car off, it felt like a huge relief. It felt like a huge burden lifted off my back. When I paid off my wife's car, it felt like a huge burden lifted off my back, because a car payment, most people are paying for a car that car, if something happens, they can't afford to keep paying for that car, or if something happens to that car and they don't have a warranty on that car, they can't afford to get the car fixed and keep paying for the car. So I think that's what hurts a lot of people.
Let's talk about some of the good points of this process, though. How good did it feel when you paid your wife's car off?
Felt amazing.
I mean, you feel like the man when you walk through, don't you?
Oh yeah,
I know that feeling. Yeah, you pay the cars off, you like, I did that.
Yeah, when you got all that money in cars, and then you can, I mean, at first, I'm not gonna lie, calling the bank and making that large payment, it hurts. Like, I felt it in my soul. I ain't gonna lie. When I did both of my cars, but at the end of the day, it worked out for the better, because now we're not paying $500, $600, $700, $800, $900 a month. You're paying that money on the front end, but now that $700, $800, $900 that you had, all that money is yours now. Now you got that income every single month. You
can invest in some, you know what I'm saying? Like my homeboy right here, real estate agent, hey, let's buy some properties together, because you can snowball your own money to bigger money.
Yeah, and they say the best money is making money when you sleep.
That's right.
Passive income.
That's right.
So, I mean, we all want to get to the point where we're making passive income where you don't have to do nothing for that money, such as, like you said, real estate.
Yep.
Real estate can be passive income if you do it right. You buy the property, you get somebody to run the property for you instead of you running the property for yourself, and then you just pay that property manager to run the property. Now all that income is passive.
There you go.
You're not spending the time. You dishing out money on the front end, but you're making that money every single month.
I was not a believer in real estate until I saw it happening with him. You know, you'd be like, "Oh, this real estate game ain't gonna work." You know, until you see somebody doing it, whether it's selling homes or coaching people through buying investment properties, you're like, this could work for me.
Yeah, and I think, and a lot of people's goals and dream are to buy a home.
Yep.
And obviously, to get to that goal, you have to be stable financially, because that's one of the worst things you can get into, is if you buy a home and you're not 100% ready to buy that home.
That's right. That's right.
Because obviously, we see what happened, in 2008.
Boy.
You got a lot of people buying homes, and even the banks. I feel like a lot of that can fault back to the banks, because you're approving people for these homes that you know they can't afford. Then you're going in foreclosing on the homes. So I'm not going to say it all falls on the bank, because they are the ones that approved it. But the consumer, I think, is the one that the consumer is the one that applied and agreed to those terms.
We're talking about financial literacy right now, right?
Yeah.
You don't wait for that foreclosure market to be right.
Oh yeah, I mean,
people overpay for these homes.
It's eventually going to come.
Let's go shopping.
It's eventually going to come.
Let's go shopping.
So yeah, like I said, getting to that point is a budget will get you to that point where you're able to save up for that first or second home, because now you see, all right, I got this amount of money going here. this amount of money going
That's
here.
right.
Then you say, all right, now I can put this much aside, because unless you have a VA loan or one of these other
VA
programs.
Loan. Yeah, you're right. VA.
Yeah.
Keep saying it.
What?
Keep saying VA loan.
Why you say that?
I'm just saying. Keep saying VA.
Oh.
Keep saying it.
Yeah, so long as you got if you got the VA loan, obviously you don't need any money down, but you still need money for closing costs.
There you go.
If you don't have the VA loan, now you need money for closing costs, and you need money for a down payment.
Unless it's a USDA. Am I right?
USDA, that's correct. We'll have
You
some.
can't make a certain amount with them, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how much it is, because I don't get a lot into the mortgage side.
Okay.
I know enough to to help my clients out, obviously.
Gotcha.
But I don't get into the details of the different, because you got the main types is USDA, conventional, VA, and FHA.
Okay.
A lot of those, except the VA, you need some kind of money down.
Okay.
There's different programs that'll help you get money down, but you still can't go into a house, even with the VA loan. You still can't go and buy a house with no money, because you still need closing costs.
There you go. Yep.
So to get those closing costs and to save up for those closing costs, down payments, or whatever you need, obviously you need that money saved up.
And we will have a future episode talking about mortgages. We got a friend for that.
Yeah, he sells mortgages now, so he's deep into the game. Me and him work together a lot. He does. Somebody calls me, hey, I want to buy a house. You pre-approved yet? Nah, call my boy. My boy, he get them pre-approved. All right, come on, let's go find a house now.
And you will see, we'll bring a lot of our childhood friends that we're still friends today onto the podcast.
Yeah, and just off topic a little bit, like you said, we're gonna bring a lot of them on. You're gonna see Ray-Bans who did our intro and outro theme song, Who to Love. Shout out Ray-Bans. He really came through with us for this one.
He did.
And we're gonna have a lot of other people. Also, while we're off topic a little bit, shout out my brother-in-law Lavelle. He did the picture of Ghost and the picture of Jay-Z right here. God did.
Yes, sir.
He did. He is a graphic designer. He did both of these in a later video, or in the comments down below. I will put his link to his website in there. He's very, very talented, and just great work.
And we gotta talk about the merch. Show it to them.
We do have merch. Give Me My Crown podcast. If you want it, we can put it on hoodies. We can put it on shirts, black, white. We could put it on hats. We can make the logo bigger, smaller. We can do whatever you want.
And we'll shout out my sister-in-law, Tiffany, Virtuous Designs.
Yes.
Gave us a fire logo.
Yes.
So we appreciate that. And Antonio, shout out to people who are going to be doing the hoodies for us.
We got the hoodies made through Custom Tees at Concord Mills Mall. They definitely came through. I went to them. I said, hey, I got this logo. I need it on something. And they put it on the hoodie. Hey, what you think about that? It looks great. So definitely shout out them.
And you might think we just rambling right now. We're not. This is all part of financial literacy. This is building networking. So it's not personal money coming in, but it's us building our brand and building other people up as well.
Yeah, networking is a huge part of financial literacy, because obviously when me and my wife moved to Charlotte years ago, probably 12 years ago.
Don't talk about it. Don't talk about it. Just left me.
Almost 12 years ago. And when I first moved down here, it's like, all right, how much money can I make? All right, now I'm making more money. I got to spend more money. And it's not always, just because you make more money doesn't necessarily mean you have to spend more money. But if you don't have a budget, naturally that will probably happen. Because if you go from making $50,000 to $80,000, now you're gonna live on an $80,000 budget. If you go from making $80,000 to $120,000, now you're making a living on a $120,000 budget.
Yes.
But if every step you go up, obviously your bills are going to increase somewhat, because if you live in a small house, you get a big pay raise, you're going to want to move in that bigger house. But if you're comfortable living on a $60,000 budget, just because you make $120,000, $130,000, you can still live on that $60,000 budget. And then that gives you a bunch of money. You can save. First of all, you definitely got to save money.
You got to save money.
Saving is very important, because you want to have that money put away for any type of emergency that might come up. And then
talk about the fun though, Tanya. Like, we understand the stuff you gotta have, but you want to put up money for vacations too.
Yeah, you definitely, because I mean, especially if you have kids, I say that number one. If you got kids, first of all, no vacation is going to be cheap from here on out.
There you go.
Because you ain't just paying for 1 or 2. Now you're paying for 3 or 4.
Like Disney, right?
Oh yeah, Disney. I know I'm gonna spend some money at Disney, but so I put money aside not only for myself but for my kids to have fun. My kids are spoiled, and when I say they're spoiled, they are also very grateful. But I put myself in a situation where I'm able to do that. I'm able to spoil them. I'm able to put them in a situation and teach them habits as far as financial literacy goes, where they pick up off my habits. Because I think in our community we do that a lot. We're not taught financial literacy, and we're not taught enough about finances that I think we set ourselves up for failure.
Is it because we don't know? Is it because our parents didn't know, or the people before them didn't know, or is it just because just the way things are?
I think it's both. I think first of all, our parents didn't know. Our parents didn't know financial literacy. They knew work, pay bills, pay bills. Yep. They didn't know saving money. If they did save money, it was a very, very little bit, maybe for Christmas.
Yep.
And then they didn't know about investing. They didn't know about real estate. Wasn't as big back then.
Yeah.
They didn't know about that. So I think it's that part. So them not knowing and not teaching us, we can't blame. I don't think we can blame our parents, because obviously they didn't know. You can't teach something you don't know.
Yep.
But I think it's our job as this generation to teach the up and coming kids.
Yeah.
But then you also have people who you could tell them what to do and they don't listen.
Yeah.
So I could tell you all day, hey, do this, do that, do this. Here are steps 1 through 7. Follow these steps and we can get you where you want to be.
Yeah.
But if you're not willing to follow those steps, you can lead a horse. What they say, you can lead a horse to the water, but you can't make them drink.
No, you can't make them drink, man.
So I think it's important that we teach our kids how to be financial literate.
Okay.
Because you want, like I said, you want them to grow up in a better life than we did, but we also want them to be in a spot that sets them up for success. Because I feel like when we were younger, if our parents knew about the finances that we know about, and they taught that to us, I feel like there wouldn't be so much of a gap as far as how long it took us to get where we are.
Speaking of that, man, we got to talk about life insurance.
Oh yeah,
a lot of people don't know you can get money off your own life insurance.
Yeah, you can get money off life insurance, and also you want, God forbid, you don't want anything to happen to you, but you want your people taken care of if something happens to you. You want your people to be able to, you don't want them struggling to find money to God forbid, bury you. You don't want them to struggle to find money to pay for bills after something happens to you. So that also goes into a budget. You have to insert in that budget enough money for life insurance. Life insurance isn't super expensive.
And you leave the next generation better than you were.
Yeah, you got to, because
life insurance is actually a profiting tool as well.
That's true.
Next generation.
That's true. And we want to just, how do I put this?
Just say it.
Like you said, you want to leave them in a better situation, but you like I said, you also want to set them up for success.
Yeah.
You don't want something to happen to you and then you leave your kids, your wife, somebody struggling, and now they have to do something to make those ends meet.
That's right. Yep.
So I think financial literacy is one of the most important things we need to know, and it's not taught in schools. It's not taught in most schools.
I was just going to go there. Like, do you feel like this should be a course taught in high school, middle school?
I think from middle school, I don't think a lot of kids will pay attention enough in middle school.
Okay.
I think from 9th grade up, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th, there should definitely be a financial literacy class in each of the grades 9 through 12.
I think it's as important as sex education.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
If not more.
Yeah, I agree.
Because no matter what you do, you have to be financial literate. Most kids, as you all know, I'm a police officer. I work at a school.
Yeah.
Most kids, I talk to kids all day. They come to me, oh, yo, I got my first paycheck, and like, yo, it was $200 less than what I thought it was going to be. I'm like, did you count for taxes? Did you count for Social Security? Did you count for everything else that the government is taking out?
Yes.
Like, nah, why I got to pay that? What you mean? That's coming out of every check. The more you make, the more they take out.
Yep.
And so, and I think that's where the failure lies is being uneducated.
So is it the system or is it the people?
I think it's a mixture of both.
I would agree. I think everybody can't be the 1%.
Yes, I 100% agree with that.
If everybody was an entrepreneur, who would make the products we need?
Yeah, exactly. And
you gotta have some workers.
You don't even have to be an entrepreneur. There's plenty of in one of Dave Ramsey's books, he talks about a vast majority of millionaires are teachers.
9 to 5 millionaire, Jamal King. He was a police officer.
Exactly. He was a police officer. One day he checked his bank account and all of a sudden he a millionaire.
He didn't know he was a millionaire.
No.
That's wild. Like he didn't even know he was one.
And you know where that comes from? Budgeting.
There you go. Yep.
Goes back to budgeting and financial literacy.
Yep.
Because back to your question, you said, is it the system or is it people? And like I said, I think it's a combination of both, because I do think us as a culture, sometimes we learn something and don't look back to teach the next person.
That's true. Why is that?
I don't know. I don't know if as a culture we're scared that we teach somebody so they're not going to take money out of our pocket. I feel like
that's the dumbest idea, though.
I agree. I feel like there's enough money for everybody out here.
It's trillions of dollars in the world.
There's enough money for everybody. I feel like I could teach you something and you could teach 1,000 more people, and it's not going to take money out of our pockets.
No, I'm different though, because I'm gonna take the black. Hey, you put me on game. You got some money right here to put me on game.
Exactly.
Nobody gonna do that though. No.
So, and I think when you don't do that, I think when we don't reach back and teach, I think that falls on us. But then when we do reach back and try to tell somebody else, but then they don't listen, that falls on them.
Exactly. They got the knowledge. They just didn't want to go with.
Yeah, and I'm a firm believer, if somebody teaches me something and they're doing better than I am at something, I'm going to take that knowledge 100%.
Yes, sir. It's called mentors.
Oh, yeah, just like Dave Ramsey. Yeah. I didn't believe in Dave Ramsey at first. Then I read somebody was telling me about Dave Ramsey. Yeah. And I'm like, nah, I'm good. Then I read his book. Yeah. And I start following his steps and I start learning his story. And I'm like, let me try it just to see how it goes. And so I tried it, and now where I'm at now, it has worked out for the better, and it has made my life better. And when you get to a point where you're financially stable, it makes your life a lot easier. It lifts burdens off of you, and it lets you have a fun life because you're not so stressed as to living paycheck to paycheck or
car payments. You got a lot of stuff you don't have to worry about no more.
Exactly. You don't have to worry about car payments, credit card bills, student loan debt, or really any other kind of debt. So I think financial literacy is the first thing. And once you learn about financial literacy, once you dive deep into financial literacy and you see why financial literacy is important, because you first have to see that before you can see the benefits of financial literacy. You have to see why it's important. Why are people teaching you financial literacy?
And you know I'm always got to go a different angle, right? A lot of people like to talk about how politics deal with go into finance.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I can look at it and say, okay, Democrats are in office right now. They push clean energy. So let me invest in like some clean energy stock. Yeah. The Republicans take over, they heavy into oil, they heavy into, bringing jobs back to America. Let me invest in steel. Let me invest in different industries that's going to really affect us in America.
Oh, yeah. I mean, politics, for one, plays a role into everything.
Right.
But you can also, I think as far as financial literacy, if you, obviously politics plays a huge part in it. Yeah. But you can also, you also have to play your own part, if that makes sense.
Exactly. Like you can't just have the information and not use it.
Correct.
And you gotta know how to play. It's like playing a video game, man. You gotta know how to play the game. If I'm supposed to hit Y to jump, and I don't hit Y, it's my fault.
That's true. That's it. And like you said, it's it's like playing a video. You have to follow those steps. When you're playing Madden,
Yep.
there's Madden suggestions for a reason.
Yep.
The video game is recognizing what the defense is doing, so they're suggesting these plays based off the defense. Obviously, you can go and do your own thing, and it may work out sometimes.
Yep.
But Madden suggestions work out most of the time.
You think about it, you learn a new video game, right? Madden has the gauntlet, so you learn the basics of the game.
Yes.
It's like some people skip the basics.
Oh yeah.
And just try to play the game.
Yeah, that's true. And that goes even into financial literacy. You have to, or let's say we're budgeting.
Yeah.
You have to learn to budget before. I think you have to learn to budget before you learn to invest.
There you go. Yep.
Because if you're investing, but you're investing money that you're supposed to be budgeting, then at that point, yeah, you might have all this money invested.
Yep.
First of all, is it making money? Second of all, are you falling in debt over here because you're taking your money and putting it over here?
How's it playing to my taxes? Like, it all goes together in a big, huge way. Because
Yes.
if you make a lot of money, but the government coming.
Oh, yeah.
They're coming hard.
Yeah.
Now, if you lose, you can claim it in your taxes too.
That's true.
You know?
You gotta. That goes back to financial literacy.
Yep.
If you know how to spend your money and know, say if you got a business and you know what you can use as a tax write-off.
The right way, though.
That's
the right way.
Yeah, you got to be the right
Ain't
way.
nobody going to jail. The right way.
Yes, and so you have to be able to. You got to be able to first of all do it as he said the right way.
Yeah.
And then you got to be able to fit it into your budget. So if you're an entrepreneur making a lot of money, you got to be able to account for those taxes, because a lot of times, for me as a real estate agent, you get paid 1099 at the end of the year. 1099 means they don't take taxes out on the front end. You pay taxes on the back end. You have to put money aside for those taxes, or if you don't have that money aside, that goes back to the budget, where now come tax time, you got to pay all this money. But if you would have budgeted for that on the front end and say, hey, I got this amount, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna check the tax bracket, see which tax bracket I'm in, how much percentage do I need to take out. All right, so I got this commission check, so I'm gonna take X amount out, put it into a whole separate bank account, don't touch it. When tax time come, hey, you owe this money in taxes. Cool, I got it in this bank account.
And this is what he do. I know he do it. And I would say, you got to have a right team, though. You need a CPA.
Yes.
Sometimes you may need a tax attorney, but you got to have the right people in place that can tell you, hey, these new tax laws, you can do this.
Yes.
You can't do this no more. So you got to have the right people in your corner.
Yeah, and as you said, CPA for one helps a ton. Get a financial coach. Like I said, I am a financial coach, so I help Anson out sometimes.
Yep.
I help him out with plenty of stuff. I help plenty of my boys out. And like I said, I just recently got certified, or I will soon be certified through Ramsey Solutions Master Coaching.
No more free knowledge, right? I'm just asking because
I'm
asking because I've been telling him to charge for his knowledge for years.
So it dives a lot deeper into what we talked about, but it goes a lot deeper, and it's a lot of a lot that goes into it.
I got the basic snowball effect. He got percentages and calculations, and it's just a whole lot. So trust me, you need to charge for it.
Yeah, it's a lot of information, and then on top of that, you also want a financial advisor.
Yeah.
We are not financial advisors.
No,
I'm not a financial advisor. I'm a financial coach, which is different than a financial advisor.
And I'm the assistant coach. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna help. Like whatever he say, I'm backing it.
A financial coach is somebody who coaches you through and gives you knowledge of what to do as far as budgeting, as far as somebody who almost like an accountability partner.
That's right.
And somebody who gives you the knowledge of how to get to that next step.
That's right.
A financial advisor assists you with taking your money and growing that money.
Yes.
So they put your money in mutual funds, stocks, bonds, 401k, IRA, life insurance,
That's right. Yep.
all that stuff. So I 100% think you need a financial advisor. You need a financial coach and you need a financial advisor. They're two separate. And so a lot of times a financial advisor will be a financial coach, but a financial coach is not necessarily a financial advisor.
And you can see he's very passionate about finances, and it's always this way. Like, why you buy that? You don't need that. why you get the new Jordans? Did you just get the last pair of Jordans came out? Like, he counts your money in a good way. Like, you don't need them shoes. Like, he look out for you.
And I'm like that with everybody.
Yep.
Somebody buy a new car, I'm like, hey, let's look at your, can you really afford that new car? Like, I see you buying the car. I see you say this is what the payment is, but look deeper into it. Can you afford that car? Did you sit down, did you put together a budget after that budget, and that includes spending all your bills, putting your money together as far as saving, put some aside for investments, life insurance, 401k. After all that, and including miscellaneous funds, do you now have enough money to afford that car? Or is that car money coming from somewhere else?
Yep, and we'll do small challenges to challenge each other. Like, hey, the physical part, they got me on. But like the money part, I can do those challenges. Like, what was the challenge we did?
Yeah, we did a challenge for the month of December. I just came up with, I was in the gym one morning at like 5 o'clock. And I'm sitting there working out. And actually it was the 1st of December. And I said, I sent a group text at 5 o'clock in the morning. I know Anson was up, but everybody else was probably asleep. But I sent a group text out at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, yo, challenge for December. Everybody put $200 aside a week, and then every day do 200 push-ups.
Yeah. See, that's where you lost me at. Keep going.
I mean, it's something small, but I think it puts everybody in an accountability mode. Like, even if you can't do the push-ups, even if you're trying, like, yo, I got 50 push-ups a day, or I got 100 push-ups a day. All right, cool, you trying. How much money you put aside this week? I was only able to put aside 150. Why weren't you able to put aside 200? Is there something going on? Did you have something come up? Was there an emergency? Because if that's the case, do you have money set aside for an emergency?
Like I told him, I was like, I didn't want to do straight cash, so I was like, I'm gonna do $100 in stock a week and $100 in cash.
Yeah.
You break it up. I mean, stock is the same thing as cash. It can go up and go down.
Yeah, and so yeah, that was our challenge, and I think it was good because it keeps everybody people who actually do it.
So what's the challenge in January? You gonna do a challenge for January, or what we doing?
I mean, we can think of something.
Okay, all right. So stay tuned. We give our crayons, because I mean, this episode, I think we should give you a crayon. I think we should get a crayon this episode.
Yeah, I mean, we always giving out crayons.
So I think this episode you should get a crayon.
I'll take it, and like we always say, this is more than a podcast. What we doing?
We handing out crayons.
Hand them out.
That's right. Until next time.
Stay tuned. We will be coming back with more video, more episodes. So please stay tuned, and soon we will have some guests for you.
And grow with us.
Who the realest in my circle? Who the one who be the snakes? Who gon' fold up under pressure? Who gon' understand the stakes? Who gon' wait to get their food to try to take from off my plate? Who the love? Who gon' understand I'm hurt? Who gon' love me unconditionally and try and make it work? Who gon' party once I'm gone and shed a tear once I'm in dirt? I ain't asking for too much, I'm trying.